welcome back to Young and Unscripted. So today we have a really exciting guest on. We have on Marvel Kalu. Welcome! Round of applause. How are you, Marvel?
I'm great. Standing ovation. Sit down.
Yeah, everyone can you see it? Just sit down. How are you? How was your journey today? Are you feeling good?
It was good. I came from the office, so
Amazing.
it was like a 20-minute bus journey.
Perfect. Could we start with your background? Could you just introduce yourself a little bit to those who are watching and don't know who you are?
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Marvel. I currently work at National Youth Theatre. I'm marketing and membership coordinator. My background is in journalism. I study journalism, I study international media and communications with Spanish, which is a whole I can't speak Spanish.
We knew this and we wanted to actually do the rest of the podcast in Spanish.
Shut up. Come to haunt me. I knew that would happen.
Wait, did you study at uni?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I went to uni, I went to University of Nottingham. I was there for free.
Russell Group?
Yeah,
Russell Group.
Do people still care about that kind of stuff?
They do. At sixth form it was a big thing. Like you need to be applying to Russell Groups.
Yeah, Russell Group Uni. Wonderful years. I loved Nottingham. But I've always been interested in journalism. That's been like my world. I used to see it as like gossip. But then like as I got to understand it more as a practice, I understood like the importance of communication, hence why I had to go do a communications degree, because I knew that I wanted to be a journalist, but I also knew it was hard to get into that industry. And I wanted to study something that would give me infinite opportunities. So I did international communications because I was like, I don't only want to know how to speak to people here, but I want to be like global. That was like my thought process, and they were like, oh, we do a language too, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm doing some Spanish.
Did you grow up in Angola?
No, I didn't. I grew up here, British born.
In London?
In London, East London.
Oh, okay.
Essex, Barking and Dagenham to be specific.
Love it.
Love Barking and Dagenham. I think there's a lot of talent there. There's so many like creative schools and so many talented individuals who come from that borough. There's like a lot of funding there for like creative arts and stuff as well. Even though I went to school in Redbridge, I still had like a lot of friends and family who went to school in Barking and Dagenham, and there were so many things to do. We had very active youth clubs that would push like dance classes and all that kind of stuff. So I love where I come from. But yeah, I wasn't born in Angola, I was born in London, in that area.
So you're always quite inspired by like creativity and stuff.
Yes, like being Angolan, I'm half Congolese too, so I'm half Angolan, half Congolese. So in my household, we're speaking Portuguese, we're speaking French. We're speaking Lingala, which is what Congolese people speak. We're speaking some traditional tribal languages as well. So there was always like multiple languages in my home.
That's amazing. That's my dream. That's actually my dream.
I need my children to
my children have to.
Spanish flopped, but
we try.
Portuguese, we'll try something else. But so I've always been surrounded by languages, but also so much culture because of that dual, is it heritage? So that dual heritage experience. Like Congolese people are so loud and extravagant, expressive. I know people we see in the crocodile, the shoes and they're very expressive, but it's so like they're so proud of their culture, and Angolans are exactly the same. So being around all those people, I was just like, they're so creative, they're so interesting. And it's not till you get older that you realise like, wait, that's actually like what that art does is basically like a cultural like shift, because it's like you're actually setting trends low key, and it's not till someone gives you the name of stuff that you understand what it is. But always been interested in like creativity. My family are very creative. My brother does like producing, he makes music. So like everyone in my family, I have 3 older brothers, by the way. I'm the youngest.
The baby.
But they all did something creative. Like my other brother did like photography, the other one did like writing. So it was always around me. My granddad was also a journalist, but in Angola. So there's so many. So it's in me to be expressive and creative. I just didn't know what it would look like for me when I got older. But from a young age, I was always very locked in. Yeah.
Did they ever want you to go down a different path, anyone in your family, or because everyone else was creative, they were like, no, let's do it, let's embrace the creativity?
Oh no, they were like, do you want to be a nurse? Do you want to be a doctor?
Yeah, doctor sounds pretty good.
I could do that. Yeah. Like, what the hell, I couldn't. But for a long time, I convinced myself I wanted to be a midwife.
Okay. A few of my friends are midwives actually.
Yeah, I love babies. I love babies so much.
Yeah.
But me and science don't go together.
Right.
So I kind of need to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I kind of need
Big
to
job.
know more than just loving a baby.
Yeah, for real.
To be a midwife. So
Yeah,
it was interesting. It wasn't until I was in sixth form, or before I went to sixth form in year 11, and I was talking to my bestest friend of all time, Ella, and I was just like, I really want to be a journalist, but I also want to be a midwife. I don't know what to do. And she was just like, write down the pros and cons of each job. And I did that, and I realised like, no, I actually want to be a journalist. Like, I tried to convince myself I wanted to do something more science and lawyer, like corporate-y, but it just wasn't
what you wanted to do.
No.
What sort of journalism were you initially drawn to?
That's a great question. I was just drawn to it all, to be honest. Because I love my community, it was always like community-based journalism. It started off as news, but community news. And yeah, that's basically what I always wanted to do. But it was also, I was also interested in like entertainment. So like that entertainment journalism was also a bit of my bag. I was like, I want to do that. Also, just being black, I was like, I want to do the journalism that interests me. And would interest my kind of audience, which is a young black woman. I was like, I want to be a journalist to make content for them. So, but see, that's where life got turned upside down, to quote Will Smith. But it was crazy because I also did a master's degree in journalism.
Wow.
Yes, at Kingston University. I did my master's, that's when that shift came up, because I still wanted to make journalism for me. But because of the environment I was in, I felt like I had to do news only.
Right, okay.
So, and also what's interesting is once you get into like a structural, institutional version of journalism, there's no room for like being the quirky black girl.
It's very different.
You do this or you do that. It's like, do you want to do court reporting? And I was like, no. I was like, I've never even thought about court reporting, but now it was like,
that's where the jobs are.
Yeah, it's like I guess I have to be a court reporter. So it was a really dark time for me because it was confusing. Probably the most confusing era of my life.
So what was it you being faced with? Was it kind of this thing of I want to do this, and to do this I have to be like in this box, was it?
Yeah,
like,
it very much felt like being aware of the box, but then also having to build the box by myself.
Right.
Wow, okay.
So weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I really about to close the lid on myself? Like, that's how it felt. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I always knew before I did the master's, before I did the degree, I was like, I knew that there would be barriers. But it wasn't until I actually met the barrier, I was like, oh,
this is a barrier.
This is real. Yeah. It was not nice, but I don't even know how I got out of that. I guess I just graduated and forgot.
Did you sort of then go to doing your own things? Were you like, because I feel like a lot in acting, I always hear, be the change you want to be, make the work you want to see. I hear that a lot. And I guess, did you face the same thing in journalism where you met this barrier and you knew that you couldn't really get past it unless you did something yourself? Did you then do
I did. So it's really confusing because I've not spoken about this side of my life for a very long time. So the story is very but when I was doing my undergrad, I joined the uni magazine and I was contributing in the news section because of all the boxes, it's like I'm actually more interested in feature writing, but because there's already a features team and there's an entertainment team, and I feel like I can't join those teams because the entertainment they're talking about is like Taylor Swift selling out the O2, and I'm like, I couldn't give a heck. So if you told me to write that, I'd be like, she did it, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Like,
it wouldn't be one I actually interested in.
It wouldn't be compelling, it wouldn't be interesting. So I felt like I had to do news.
Yeah.
So I did news, and I focused all my news articles on all of the societies in Nottingham. So anytime there was a new society, anytime societies did events, I would go, I would cover it, I'd talk to them, like, why did you start this society? Why is it important to do community? So it was more that kind of journalism. And then by like 6 months in, I think the head of news dropped out or something, I don't know. But then I became head of news. So I was head of news.
Promotion.
Yeah, promotion. No pay.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Always the way.
So yeah, I became head of news, and when I was doing that, that was really interesting because I had like a pool of writers too. So every time I had like did a call out, I would try to get as many like young black people in the uni. Like, if you ever thought about writing, come write for me. Like, come do it for me. Like, let's do this together. So a lot of my articles were about just like outsourcing and reaching out to different like groups who were like of colour because it's just missing from the narrative, especially from the uni experience, because all the like copy and comms and everything with uni is it's so focused on the white students, like gays. Not a lot of students do the like pub crawls and like the freshers week. Like, some of them aren't interested in that side. So what are they doing? So that's the stuff I was trying to like poke holes at and be like, well, why are we doing this again? You wrote this article 2 weeks ago. You know, it's very repetitive. But when I did that, it kind of put back into my head that I'm going to do news. Because I'm going to be the change. Like, it was really in my head. Like, it wasn't just in my head, but it was in real life too. It was like, I'm going to be the change, but I'm actively making change every single time I publish something. So it was like such a huge responsibility. And I think that's probably what led me to do the master's degree as well, because I was like, I am the change. But no, guys. That is traumatizing. That is so traumatizing because no one supports you.
You can't put that all on yourself.
You can't put it all on yourself. So I was like, oh, I'm the change. So now I'm going to go and push myself even further into a box and go do a master's degree.
Right.
So it was, as much as like from the outside, it's like,
you be the change. It's like being the person who is the change.
Exactly. That's not
the pressure.
That's not easy. That's horrible. So that's even why I've probably not spoken about this in a very long time, because it was so traumatic to do that all on your own when
there's not the support out
there's
there.
no
like none,
none. Like, they do the schemes and the mentors, and I'm a very big devout Christian, so I always pray to Jesus, like, Jesus, please give me a mentor. Like, I need someone to show me what the hell to do. And it wasn't till I came up out of that I was like, oh, I just wasn't supposed to be doing it.
Someone was supposed to show you the way. You weren't supposed to be in that by yourself.
Sometimes you have in your head, you're like, but this is what I meant to do. So how did that happen? Like, so what made you maybe kind of try and look at other things, not strictly like news journalism?
It's just my friends, to be honest. Okay. My friends, the people around me. They always say, oh, you're so funny, and you're so friendly, and you're so open.
You are.
And but they were like, they really helped me realize that the change I wanted to see wasn't like this big move. It was just me. Like, me being there, me being like, oh, maybe we should do this instead. Like, just that small input was so huge. So that's what helped me so much in terms of like just doing things that I was interested in. So I started freelancing, and I was a staff writer for a while for a magazine that's like all about African black people, just all the things that are going on. And when I was writing for them, I was doing like TV reviews and movie reviews with like black characters. So that was a great time for me, because I was like, I'm finally doing something that I'm interested in, And I freelanced so hard, like I did 3 articles for BuzzFeed. Like I was just, I was writing up a storm. And also it was around the time like Insecure was finishing, and I wrote like an article about, I think it was like 17 the best things 17 things Issa Rae got right with Insecure. So just talking about all the things that she did right in terms of Black people on TV, that storytelling. It was a really exciting time because everyone was starting to pay more attention to Black writers, like on screen, like, and also just in journalism. So it was fun. It was fun. I was pitching so much. It was like a fever dream.
Was that tiring?
It was tiring.
Yeah.
It was tiring. It was so. I think that's probably why I stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped because every time I felt like I was getting close to what I wanted to do, I realised I was doing all by myself, and it's taxing. Like it's tiring. So you do have to stop and just be like, wait a minute. Like
let me breathe.
Let me breathe. Let me
Yeah.
catch my breath. But yeah, that's kind of what I did to get me back.
Yeah. Would you say then, because obviously you talk about those moments where you felt kind of alone and not in it, and thank you for sharing that with us, because I know you said it wasn't the best time.
Safe
space.
Cool.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
But obviously now, knowing you in this part of your life, you are very much about mentoring and supporting it. You were my mentor.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, do you think that from your own personal experiences, that what really pushed you to...
Yes,
yeah,
like literally me feeling so, I wouldn't say lost, because I was so self-assured.
Yes. Yeah.
No one could really tell me what to do, but I wanted someone to be like, yes or no, you know? I just wanted that, like, someone to be like, you're doing it right, or you're doing it wrong. Just that, like, reassurance. I felt like I was super self-assured, but I wanted reassurance.
Yeah.
If someone says to you, you're doing the right thing, that's between you getting the next 10 like pitches, or you not getting the next 10 pitches.
Wow.
And it's a lot about reputation, because I'm approaching people via email. They don't know me.
They don't know you personally.
They don't know me. So a lot of the pitches, the reason why I got to write 3 times for BuzzFeed and all those things that were happening, staff writer, all that stuff, was because they were saying like, you're doing the right thing. There was validation in it. They also it was like the accolade, like someone, I could say I've worked with this person, they know who I am. So like building all of that brick by brick.
Brick by
brick.
Tiring.
Tiring, yeah. But also I needed it, because I'm like, I need to make sure this brick is the right size. Is this brick the right size?
Yes.
It was that kind of, so.
Do you think that really related as well to your work ethic then? Did that make you even more determined, even more motivated?
Yeah.
Did you have that previously, or is that something that you kind of learnt along the way, that motivation?
I've always been super motivated, and I've always known what I wanted to do. But I feel like I always needed just that extra bit of support, like that mentorship. So when I was in a position where I could mentor somebody, I was like, I will happily do that, because sometimes the person that you're mentoring, or the person that needs a mentor, they're doing all the right things, but they just need somebody to let them know that they're doing all the right things. So when it was my turn and they were like, do you want to? I was like, yes. I do, because there isn't anybody who wouldn't need a mentor. Like Michael Jackson had a mentor.
It's hard to do everything by yourself, isn't it?
It's not easy. So it's not healthy either.
No.
It's not good.
It's not at all. No. You need someone to show you the ropes and show you the way. Especially when you're new into an industry. Like I know you obviously had done it for a while because you did it at uni and things, but I think it's also very different training to do something and then actually just being thrown into that world. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Where do I go with this? How do I do this?
That's the big one.
After you had done your articles and things like that, did you stick with journalism? Because obviously I know now you don't do journalism. So how was that transition? What did you do?
Well, the crazy thing is, whilst I was doing all those things, I was still working 9 to 5s. The thickens the plot. I was still working.
So what were you doing?
I was working in marketing the whole time.
Wow.
Because
straight from uni,
I was working.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying. I was very clear about what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was just doing too much, and also just didn't know what to stick with. Because I felt like if I do the marketing full time, then I'm giving up on being a journalist.
Yeah,
if I do the journalism thing, I'm just going to keep have to jump through all these hoops. I think I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah, for real.
So that's why she went to the side. But yeah, I was working. So I started off at a film company, an independent film company called Bluebird Pictures, and I did like research for them, which was really nice.
Okay.
And also I was doing, before that even, let's
backtrack.
Rewind. Anyone who knows me and who knew me in uni, I was the internship queen.
And I love that. I love that. I wanted to be that girl.
Yeah, best way to be.
Always had an internship lined up somewhere.
But that's
amazing.
Why you probably got a job straight out of uni.
Yeah,
I know some people, like, they're back working at Starbucks. Like, you got a job straight away.
I did. I went straight in because I knew that, well, the one thing that I hate about working in the creative industry, or even just pursuing something creative, is that you always have in the back of your mind, like, this isn't going to work.
That's what I do if it fails. Literally. That's how I wake up every day.
And you're like, oh no, but I'm going to do it. But then you're also like, well, what if I don't? What's going to happen?
That was the motivation. I was like, if all of this fails, I need to still be able to like make money. I have to be able to make money. I need to be able to live. So I was doing the internships. I did multiple like different magazines. I forgot, guys know Tank. That was quite a big.
I've heard of Tank.
Tank. I was at the Guardian.
What?
Yeah,
you got a resume.
Yeah.
The resume is insane. But I was at the Guardian. I also was at the Eye for a little bit, and I was interning everywhere, like doing as much as I could at small production houses. Research assistant, production assistant, like anything, because I knew that I needed to do something creative, even if it was a 9 to 5. So I was doing all of those internships and just building a network. My LinkedIn was active as fuck. Like I was like, I need to get out there because I don't know anyone. So like everyone else that I knew, like they knew somebody.
Connections.
They had connections. I didn't have any connections. I was like, I'm doing this from the ground. So I started early, and everyone that I did an internship with, I just stayed in contact and was like, hi, like it's been a month. I had the best 2 weeks of my life over there. And if you ever need somebody, I'm here. And I never replied.
But you can't do it anyway.
You still gotta do it. So that's basically how I
love that, how like you didn't have those connections, so you were like, you didn't just go, oh, I don't have them. You made them yourself. Like you really did do it from the ground up.
I did, but I complained.
How was being an intern? Was it?
Being an intern is fine. I mean, there were moments where it's like there's absolutely nothing to do. Like I remember in the Guardian, there was like barely anything to do because the writers got jobs. They're writing. So what are you gonna be doing? But I basically used that time to work on my social media. So whilst I was there, any like articles that I saw, I would like repost on my Twitter account and like pull quote the things that interested me the most, and I would do that like every day.
Right.
So I was basically just like posting about the news and any like entertainment news on my Twitter account every day whilst I was at the Guardian. I wasn't like necessarily writing anything, but I was like assisting, copywriting and all that stuff, but I was just using the like dead time to just work on my socials. So at least people online knew me for a thing. And they could expect something from me. So that's what I was doing.
You don't waste a minute.
You know, but also I complain. I'm a complainer.
Okay.
I be complaining. I'm like, man, shit, doing this room. Today, like at the same time. But one thing that helped me so much, like, because I'm sure, like, hearing it, even me hearing it, it sounds crazy. But the only thing that helped me, like, going is that I was so big on, like, closing the gap between an idea and then doing the idea.
I love that.
So important.
So many people have ideas and then they just
never
don't materialise because it's fear. What you said about fear and faith. You just got to go for it. You just have to.
So that's if you keep that gap open too long, you won't do it. So as soon as I get an idea, I try to do it immediately. Even if I feel like it's wrong, I just do it.
Yeah, just act on it. Yeah, rather than
someone's gonna see it and be like, "Whoa, that's so cool."
Yeah,
but I'll watch it back and be like, "Oh, I like messed up," but
you're learning.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah,
I'm growing. Yeah, and I also have this thing where it's like I talk about it with my friend a lot. It's like getting it out of your system. So like, if like back in the day when I was writing my reviews, all my reviews were good. All of them were good. This film is amazing. You have to go watch it. It's so good. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was in the cinema like, oh, this is shit. Like, it's quite bad. But all my reviews were amazing.
Okay.
And I had to get the like idea of being likable out of my system. So all my reviews were like, this is great, until I got it out of my system, and I was like, wait a minute, okay, it was okay.
And that's okay.
These parts were shit. It was almost amazing. Like. I was just being a bit more honest with myself. But closing the gap between an idea and doing it, and then also getting things out of my system helped so much. Yeah.
Did you find that you had backlash from that? Turning from everything being good to then you basically slating stuff. Because of course you have to be honest. Not slating, but like of course
you have to.
Yeah, I actually wonder even for myself, because I've thought about doing that. I'm like, oh, when I go to this production, let me review it, and then I'm like, oh, I might want to work with these people in the future. And if I say it's rubbish, then that's not great for me.
You have to be honest.
What's your advice for that? And what was your personal journey with that? I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
I wrote one review for the uni mag that I worked for with the like theatre group, and the play was horrible. Okay. To this day, like now that I've been in the theatre industry for a while now, I can say it's probably one of the worst plays that I've watched. Okay. Like it was that bad. Okay. And in the review, I said it was bad. Yeah. But this is like uni theatre. So I wrote the play and I was like, this wasn't good. Like. At one point, it was basically about like feminism and like there's a story about a girl going into the city to get a job, and then she gets sexually harassed during the job, and it's about like that inner city life and how it's different to like country living and trying to get a job, and
so much going on.
So much going on. So much going on.
I feel like if you're dealing with those themes, you need to be doing it well. You can't just do like
and there's also like I'm talking moving set of like a cityscape. It was bad. It was bad. Like even now I stand by the review. It was bad. And I wrote it and I said like there was confusion. Yeah. There wasn't any clear like storyline. I literally wrote, I can't remember now, but I said something like, luckily because I wanted to know the storyline, I paid a lot of attention. Yeah. But I feel like if someone else was sitting and I'm not sure if they even got the storyline, because it was that confusing, and the comments on that, they were like, this is the worst review I've ever read. Like people personally emailed the like uni mag email address like, oh, this piece was so like disrespectful, and don't ever send this writer to see the show again. And one of the actors messaged me on Facebook and was like, you said that this character was boring when their name is actually this. And I was just like, you see, you're even proving my point. Like, I didn't know what was going on. It was that confusing and also forgettable at the same time. You have to email me to tell me that I got the names wrong. But that didn't bother me. Like, honestly, I was like, I'd rather be honest than...
So true.
Yeah, than want people to be like, oh, thank you so much for writing a good thing about us. Like,
it's not doing anyone any favours. It's not letting them grow. And because I heard a quote, I think it was Khloe Kardashian who said it. She loves a quote. She loves a quote. And she said, the truth hurts one time, a lie hurts 7,000 times.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great quote. So you telling them there and there, okay, you know what, it's not the best piece of theatre. But okay.
I bet even though they reacted so like, but then, you know, every time sometimes you hear something, you're like, it makes you feel something, but then you're like, okay.
You deflect in the moment, you get defensive, but then later on you can actually process that and learn from it.
So look at you building their career. It's true though.
But also it's like, I didn't want to ever it's not even like rude. Like the way that it's written is not rude. I feel like
you're just saying your opinion.
It's just to be honest and to be like constructive. That's the thing. I would never be like slaty, like little shit. No, but like just constructive. Like, okay, it was confusing. Couldn't really follow the plot. You know,
just some
could have been better. Just small bits and pieces. But I think because I was so like, I'm doing this, like I have to be honest, I have to get it out of my system. I've got it out of my system now of being super kind and everything.
Yeah.
Now I have to just be honest, but I had to take a pinch of that kindness too, to still so it was never like raw, like just blazing.
Blazing. So then what would be your advice then for people who want to do a similar thing where they're not really too sure how to break that kind of barrier of being completely honest but then doing it in a nice way? How would you suggest they go forward with that?
I think the best way to go forward is just to remember kindness. Like there's a difference between being nice and being kind. Like when you're being kind, you're considering the people who will be reading it. When you're being nice, it's just like very surface. So think about the person that you're writing about. Think about the person you're going to talk about as well. How would they receive it? And if they were in front of you, would you say these same words to them, like to their face? So like that kindness is still like super important. Like it's even like with auditions where it's like they could be nice and be like, oh, you did so well. Like that's them being nice. Them being kind is like when you did your monologue, you like look to your left a lot and you're not giving me any eye contact. That's them being kind and being considerate of like the constructive criticism you might need. Like the niceness comes with no feedback.
There's no benefit.
There's no benefit. So I'd say one piece of advice is always consider kindness, always consider the person that you're writing about or that you're going to talk to, or the subject at least. Always consider the subject, always.
100%. So then how did you, so you did marketing, going back to the marketing, was your 9 to 5. And you kind of then ended up going into that route. So then what happened with then your journalism and with doing your internships and all that? Did it just kind of fade off? You decided you want to stick with marketing and you didn't want to be brutal anymore? I'm joking. So how was that transition?
It didn't even feel like a transition because the like marketing world was still so like creative. So it was still in like film offices, it was still TV productions, it was still like locations runner, like it was still very much TV and film. So I never felt like a transition. Through working at the production company as researcher, I then moved on to film Barking Dagenham, where I did a bit of socials for them and stuff. So all that comms stuff still feels like journalism because it's communication. So it's like talking to an audience. So it never felt like a transition. It's just that one day I stopped writing long form. But I'm still writing every day. I'm still doing the newsletter, captions. I'm still doing so much that the skills from journalism taught me. So, and PR as well, it's the same world. And even when I was at the film office, like, because it was a film, like a locations office, we had a lot of films come into film in the like space. So we had like Black Widow, we had a few Love Island adverts filmed on like on our different locations. And when we did do that, because I was like working in the locations team, I'd have to like interview the like locations officer for Netflix and be like, what was it like coming here and blah blah blah. And it wasn't, the thing is, it's not front facing like this. Like none of it was like this where people saw me doing it. It was all behind the scenes. It was all back and forth emails and articles on a website, on a company website, but it was the same exact thing. It's just that nobody saw me do it. So it never felt like I stopped writing. It just felt like it had a new purpose now.
What would you say is your main purpose of writing? What is the main message you like to get out there?
The main message, I feel like the main thing, I've thought about this for a while now, but I think it's mainly just commentary. And if I can get you to do it or experience it or watch that film or something like that, that's what I want to say to someone. I would just want to recommend.
Yeah.
I just want to politely recommend.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this? You know, it's always been that.
And then NYT. How did you?
NYT.
How did you get involved with NYT?
That's crazy. NYT.
How long have you been there for now?
2 years, I think. Or like 1 year and 9 months or something like that. But I'm just gonna say 2 years. NYT came to me at a very big transitional point in my life. Like, it was a crazy time again.
Right.
Because let's put Marvell into context. She's somebody who thinks of stuff and does it.
Yeah.
So in the whirlwind of all the things that I'm picking up and dropping and picking up and dropping, I just was like, I've done the film and TV stuff.
Yeah.
I was contracted, but my contract would like end like on Friday. Like, let's say today's Friday. It would end today. I'd say bye. I loved you all. So amazing, because I was freelancing for them. And then on Monday they'd email me and be like, we want to like contact you again for another 3 months.
Wow.
And I'd be like, okay, I'm back for 3 months.
So there was no real break, no weekend. I'm seeing this as a pattern. You like to work. So I just thought, for context, NYT is the National Youth Theatre.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't do all the times because we can talk about National Youth Theatre, not the New York Times. That's such an internal thing. But that's what happened. I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this anymore. So during my next contracted period, I started looking for jobs because I was like, I need something full-time and something real. And I was like, where do I go? What should I do? And I found a corporate job. I don't want to drop their name.
Everyone goes through the corporate job stage.
It was hell on earth. Like, my manager was a micromanager, like, from hell. She was horrendous. She was the worst woman I'd ever met. And my first female manager, and I hated that for her. Because I was like, I hate that for us.
You wanted a positive.
Because I was like, no.
Like, why are you doing this?
But all kinfolk ain't kinfolk. So I was like, damn, this is not a good experience. And I sent her to tribunal. And I sent her to corporate court.
Wow, so she was really bad. It wasn't just
she was bad.
Okay.
Like, I had to
she was
make
affecting
formal complaints about that woman. But the corporate stuff didn't work because it was for a press regulator company. So it was like very much hardcore journalism, like no fun, just like law and policy and too much. So I kind of quit, but in a very dramatic way. Looking back, it was super dramatic, but it needed to be dramatic because she needed to learn a lesson. Like,
she can't carry on like
that. Like, she can't. And also it was her first time being a manager, and I was just like giving her so much grace because it was her first time. And so I realised she didn't give a shit about me, and I was like, wait a minute.
And it's affecting your work
me,
so.
And also during that time, I made sure to keep freelancing because I didn't want to lose sight of why you were in the industry doing the job. But that job was horrible, and then I left it, and then I started looking for another job. And I was like, I don't ever want to go back to corporate.
As I say, corporate is not for you. I
was like, no, like, I'm too chatty, like, it's not me. So I was like, I can't do corporate again. I said, I've done the TV and film thing. And I was like, I kind of want to keep TV and film as a journalism thing. So I was like, what's something I can do that's like similar, but like not that, but still creative? And I was like, galleries. I was like, galleries. Got an interview, went to the gallery, super dull. Was giving corporate again. And I was like, okay.
It's very silent.
I was like, theatres. Theatre is where I should go. Because even during that time, when I was doing film and TV, I was still also like doing a lot of theatre reviews too. So I was like, wait a minute, like, you're always in the theatre every other week. You should go work at the theatre. So I applied for National Youth Theatre. And I met Joe, who's my manager, and he was like, you seem cool. And I was like,
I am cool.
I'm cool. But I feel like the thing that helped me get the job was because I do a lot of research. That's that journalism coming back.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research about National Youth Theatre, and I also went on their website, I checked their socials, everything. And their socials were great. Like, I was like, there's no notes here. Like, I feel like it's great. I feel like it's something I can add to. But it was a website. The website got me. I was like, this is before the new website.
No, I remember it.
Yeah.
I remember it.
And I was like, ooh, this website is confusing.
It was confusing.
So in my interview, I was like, what's to do with the website? And then Joe was like, I'm so glad you asked. And I think that is what...
that's exactly what he needed. He wanted someone to
come into the interview like, oh, like, I got something I can bring to you.
I always ask questions like, that's not they're not interviewing me, I'm interviewing them.
Do you want to work there? Not just
So I was like, what's going on with the website? Because one thing I always used to ask in job interviews, because I've not interviewed in a while because I've got a job now, but one thing I always ask people is, let's say I started, what would be my main focus for the first 3 months? That was a question I always ask them, and people would be like, okay, so you need to do this and this and this and this. And depending on the list, I'd be like, do I want to do this job? Do I not want to do this job? Because you have to compare that to what your idea of the job will be.
Yes, because that's the thing, something can seem so much different to what it actually is. That's very smart.
Because they could be like, oh well, in the first 3 months you'll be doing admin, and you've applied to be a social media manager somewhere, and you're thinking they're going to say we have a campaign or something. But then you realise in that answer that, oh, they don't do campaigns as often as I thought they did. So that could be a deal breaker for you. You might be like, I wanted to have something on my portfolio in the first 3 months, so I don't know if I can do this job. It's stuff like that. Again, asking questions, doing the interviews, journalism. I have to know how to read in between the lines as well. I have to know when someone is being dishonest, when they're trying to flatter me. And I've had enough conversations with different people in different walks of life to know how to process that. So it helped a lot with job interviews as well, and why I was even working whilst freelancing was because I understood who the person was, so I could be the person they needed for that time frame, basically. And it helped with freelancing because I never intended to stay for a long time. It's different here because I stayed a long time, and I came in with like a completely different mindset where I was like, I'm looking for stability. So it stuck.
And you enjoyed it.
I love it, by the way.
We keep the job.
I love it. It's so different. Like, people always say, oh, every day is not the same, but genuinely,
there's a lot going on.
It's different.
What's been your favourite thing that you've done at NYT?
My favourite thing, I think it was Storyfest.
I remember seeing that actually. Like, I didn't go, but I remember seeing it publicised.
Storyfest was fun. Storyfest was just so, I think, real. Where it was like scripts that aren't complete, actors like getting a script in a week and then performing it by the end of the week. Like, it was just so raw. I was like, I love this. And the audience reaction to it, and the like people who were coming from different places, like, oh, I didn't even know they did script in hand kind of plays, and I was like, oh, I mean, normally they don't, but it's like a scratch come to life, but like multiple scratch nights. So it was just really nice. And I also loved the members events. Like, my first open mic night, I cried in the audience. I cried. I was like, they're so talented.
And honestly, people at NYT are so much.
And it's just like the fact that all they need is a stage, because there was nothing. Like, it was my first ever event. All I had was the room booked, some snacks and some drinks, and like a microphone stand or a stool and a piano. And they just came on stage, and you'd think that there was a moving set. Like, it was just amazing. And I think that's when I realised I need to like not doubt myself too much, because I can rely on the talent, the
art,
members.
You
guys really bring so much to life. Not that I'll like ever do something that's as bare again.
But I sometimes think though, especially for open mics, that's the best way for it to be, because it is just about the person, their story, their spoken word. Just being there. So I think that was perfectly depicted by you. I think that was great.
It was a great. I love all the members' events because I get to know the members, meet them, and then see their talent at the same time. Like that is a joy to be honest.
What things do you do? So you're you do the marketing, but like what does that mean day to day?
Yes. So I'm marketing and membership coordinator. So with the marketing side, I run the socials. So I do the Instagram and I do the TikTok. Across the team, we do like Facebook that way, Twitter that way, like stuff. Like we have the LinkedIn as well, but I mainly do Instagram and TikTok. And then I also do the members newsletter. That's what I write. I do the members board updates as well. And I also do events for members as well. So any type of like open mic night, scratch night, short film night, anything really for the members. That's what I do. And any other like members events like the Arona event, all that stuff. I help with the comms and stuff for that. And just like the overall marketing as well for our shows. So like 12th night, the poster, we went out, got some props for it, Story Fest, we got the pink moving backboard thing.
I remember you talking about it in our session.
Yeah, the pink board,
so cool.
That was like my idea. So we just got like this big frame and like had like a movable background just so that it felt unfinished. So you know, like normally when you take a picture like on the backdrop, it's like super zoomed in.
Yeah.
But it was like purposefully zoomed out so you could still see the building, like just the idea that it's unfinished, that kind of. But getting to like brief that kind of idea is really cool. But that's basically what I do. It's very creative, and very random to be honest. A lot of
interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm working front desk.
I walked in sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh!
I'm thinking of like Helen actually, because a lot of the like people, members, parents that call in, they want to know like something about the members board or something about how to sign their kid up, and I'm like, I know that. And also because we're the marketing team, we're kind of across all, well not kind of, we kind of need to have an idea of what every department's doing. So just knowing stuff, what's going on in the building, like all auditions and castings. Like we have a auditions and courses team, we have a production team, but I still have an idea of what's going on.
Which department do you think you work most closely with? Just all of them really.
It's pretty much all of them, but I think it's probably production and auditions and courses, depending on the time of year. So production is always like when it's rep production. When it's like intake, summer intake, I want to audition and courses. But when there's like an overlap of the two, I'm working with both departments at the same, which is like right now.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people who want to go into the same sort of field?
Oh God.
Don't do it!
Advice I'd give them. I feel like everyone has an idea of what working in social media is. And then you work in social media and it's not
so different. I think even the whole thing of like, I'm going to post on TikTok today, and then you think, oh yeah, I can get this amount of like views from that. I think even us, even the podcast, like sometimes I'll be like, what? That many views? Are you kidding? We took time on that. It's not at all. All you really see are the people at the top. So you're like, okay, I can be there.
It seems so easy, but it's not.
No, it's draining.
Like, have you got? I guess you must know a lot about how social media works and stuff. Like, how did you pick that all out?
Oh, that was trial and error. That's through me. Like even when I was doing the internships and doing the posting, I'm just checking engagement. Like what's doing better? What's not like translating? But it was really trial and error, and also I think there needs to be a lot more space of grace for social media. Yes, because not everything is going to be a viral moment.
So
also, you have to think about how much you're willing to put in to go viral.
Yeah. You know, I remember, this is so random. When we went to LA, we did Half of the Planet, LAX, that trip. I was like, that should be viral. We really thought we were going to blow up. I promise you, we didn't get more than 30 views. I promise you, and that was on TikTok.
It's gone wrong.
We made that algorithm. I promise you, on TikTok, where usually
it was like 40 views.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know what happened. They don't want to see us win.
What's going on?
And we were like, surely we're going to go viral for that.
It was a great video.
Whole leg in it, and then you get nothing.
We spent the whole of LA being like, quick,
So
the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Our trip was basically underpinned by this video.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was in shock.
There needs to be so much grace about what's going on.
Yeah.
Literally.
I feel like the older generation who will be your manager, they have an idea of how things go. They're like, oh, this video is doing great. And you look at it and it's got like 10 likes and you're like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But they're looking at the views and they're like, it's got 2,000 people who watched it. And I'm like,
but they're not liking
it.
The engagement.
They're just seeing it.
But you see, that's the thing. It's like, it really depends on who your manager is. Who you're working for as well.
Yeah.
Also, it depends on the system. I feel like when it comes to like making social media and all that stuff, I really don't think about the numbers, the views. I feel like I said this a lot during the content creators collective. I was like, guys, don't look at the numbers. Because if you keep looking at the numbers, you're going to feel like disheartened.
It's really unmotivating.
It comes,
sometimes.
honestly, it comes with, when you least expect it, when you're not paying attention, that's when the views come and the likes come, all that stuff. It just starts to kick in. And I feel like the more consistent you are, the better.
Yeah, I think
all
so.
about
Consistency.
It's all about consistency.
Yeah.
It's all about not being scared to post the same thing 3 times in that one day.
Right.
Just do it again. Post it again.
Yeah, see what happens.
Who cares? Who actually cares? Who cares if you see it twice? Then you saw it twice.
Yeah. So true.
It doesn't matter. I feel like that's what I'm talking about, the grace of it. Because it feels like you should just post it and then boom, like, you're done, you blew, like. But I feel like also social media is interesting because it's so personal. It depends also on who you want to see you doing that stuff.
True. I feel like that's something that a lot of people who want to get into it, I think that's what they struggle with the most, of who's going to see me, especially if you're at school, like that sort of age group. It's like, oh no, are people going to see
They're
this?
They're going to see me and I'm going to be like, oh no. Honestly, don't pay.
It's never that deep.
Don't forget about it.
And you always find your audience. You always find your people. They will be like, oh, I love this or I love that. And even if it's just one comment, imagine a stranger come up to me and being like, I loved your hair in that video. You would
make your entire day.
Thank you so much. It would mean so much. So I feel like looking for the like tens and thousands of likes and the thousands of comments and stuff, even that can be intimidating. I think we should enjoy and really celebrate small creators as well, because there's such an honest energy in terms of like cultivating an audience that exists in that space that I feel like people overlook. And I'm like, no, like they're actually doing a huge thing. So that's a big part of social media for me. And also I feel like people feel like you need to have like a backlog of like viral videos to like even try to apply. And I feel like obviously it depends where you're applying to. Obviously if it's like a big thing, then they're gonna want big results. But also you need to know how to market yourself, knowing how you speak about yourself, knowing how to like explain what you can bring, and also knowing how to manage people's expectations.
Don't promise the world if you can't do it. For sure.
And then when you do that and then you do more than what they expected, you build a trust there. So I feel like that's a really big piece of advice for anyone who wants to get into social media. And I feel like you should also understand the community aspect of social media before you like jump into it as well, because one day TikTok won't be here.
Which is so crazy to think, isn't it? I remember when it was Musical.ly. I used to love Musical.ly.
It just went.
And it's gone. And I feel like it's such a big metric for companies these days. It's like TikTok viral, all that blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But one day that won't exist. So how can you explain what the work you've done that might not be viral but was still important? Like, how can you explain that to somebody? What was the process behind it? So I feel like knowing those things is just as important. Knowing how to use the app is just as important as knowing how to go viral. Because sometimes going viral is a mistake. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
You didn't even mean to do it. It just happened one day.
This is on my TikTok, and we always talk about it. We went together. This Slow Jams Orchestra at the Jazz Cafe, and I think at the time it was kind of blowing up because everybody wanted to know about it. And I posted 3 videos. They were all separate videos from that night, but all from that night. They honestly blew up like I've never seen before, like 400k. Go crazy. But like the rest of my videos obviously are not getting that same percent. But obviously that's something I put no effort into. I just filmed them and posted it. Which is crazy. And then there's other things that you spend so much time editing and even like going out to film it. Like it's a lot, but they will never blow up to the same way. Did you ever have a personal account, or was everything you did always about something else?
I still do have a personal account.
Okay. Yeah, and so you actively do that as your social. Okay, that's really cool.
As often as I can. Yeah, TikTok. But also like with my personal account, I try not to monitor numbers and all that stuff because that's my job.
That's your work.
So I try to just enjoy that for what I can. Enjoy it, feel it. But yeah, most of the time when I did apply for jobs or anything, because the thing, the social media thing is quite new.
Yeah, it is.
When I was doing my degree, my undergrad, we spoke about social media, but not that much. When I was doing my masters, we spoke about it, but still, again, not that much. So when I went into the jobs and stuff, I really market myself as a person who does membership and community. So that's like how I push my thing. I never mention social media because I know how to do it, but I don't want people to think that I'm gonna make them famous.
No,
I'm like, I'm not famous. So
did you think that when we did the content creation course, did you think, oh no, they're all gonna come in here and be like, make me famous? Did you ever make me a star? So we all come in like, Marvel, make me a star.
And I'm like, bro.
They're like, I want that gifting. I want that
PR, please.
I'm like, you'll get there. Just be consistent. But I feel like it's not a cookie cutter type of thing, but that's me, that's my opinion. You can meet someone else, they'll be like, do this, this and this, and you're gonna go viral. Like they'll have a better idea of it. But for me, it's always been about like the people, the community, the comments, seeing the engagement, being like, oh, I'm gonna go see this show, maybe I should audition. Like, so those are when I see that, I'm like, I'm
doing something. I'm watching someone.
Viral!
For sure.
But it's not the viral that other people would say is viral, but I think
it's making an impact.
But it's so important as well, just for your own peace of mind, to be like a bit more like understanding and leave space for you to know what you'll be proud of yourself for. It just makes the job easier. And life easier too. Because if you're like, this morning I'm gonna wake up and I can't wait to like film a podcast, and then you do it, it's like, what a fulfilling life. But if you're like, I gotta go to this thing, record this podcast, no one's even gonna watch it. Like if you think about like it, that is just why would you even want to do it? But when you think about it in like a understanding what you're about to be proud of, it's so much better.
I agree.
It's so much more clarifying.
I think so.
But
what are your next steps, Marvel?
My next steps?
What's your plan? What do you want to do? What do you want to
get up from the chair and step out.
One day at a time. Where's my next step?
But next steps, personally for me, I would like to go back into the writing. I am slowly going back into the writing. I'm trying to do more for myself. So I'm not going to be doing any pitching anymore. I've decided against it.
Done with being tired.
I'm done with being tired.
Yeah.
But also it means you're giving your ideas out and then not hearing back.
Yeah, so they could just take your idea. Right?
And I'm trying to close that gap, guys.
Yeah.
So it's not helping with the gap closing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just write more for myself. I'm building my blog, which
what's the blog called?
It's called the Playback Journal. It's basically where I listen back to some of my favourite albums and songs and stuff. And then just write a review about it.
I love that.
But yeah, I've always been like a big music person. Which the funny thing is, I love TV, I love film, I love theatre, and I feel like now I'm getting into music again. But I used to also like draw, like I was very big on art. So I feel like as every year goes by, I start tapping back into the things that I love.
You're just a very creative person. Everything you do is very creative.
Yeah, so it's like, now I'm like, music, I want to go back into music. I want to go back into why I love music. I'm a very big collector. Very big collector. I have a very big CD collection. Which I hope to like do more like TikTok videos about the CDs I've collected. I'm talking about 2000s, the videos and the DVDs from 2000, the CDs from 2000. So I'm hoping to go back through that collection.
Yeah.
I just find all pieces of media really interesting, and kind of interesting how they've gone away, or like they're not as popular. Like I was looking through the Sugar Babes album because it's one of my favourites. Their first ever album.
Do you remember? This is really random. In McDonald's,
I
in
know.
the Happy
I
Meals.
still have that toy.
Yeah. Can we bring yesterday back around?
I love Sugar Babes.
Sugar Babes.
I still have that McDonald's toy.
Oh, I don't know where mine is.
Up until last year, the music still played.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, McDonald's.
I know. I was like, this is impressive.
Yeah.
Ain't no batteries, nothing. It just. But I was looking through the album, and there was like the thank you page, and there was like all the writing credits, there was the lyrics, there was like a whole photo shoot, the fold out poster that came with the CD, the like graphic design that was on the CD. I was like, this is a lost art. Like you don't even Spotify.
Literally.
Spotify, I see that album art one time. I don't see nothing else on the day because they never just took one picture. Like they took multiple, and we don't see any of that. Like obviously we still have the CDs, and vinyls are quite popular, but no one's like putting posters up on their walls anymore. And that makes me sad because I still have posters on my wall.
I love it.
I'm that kind of person. So, and I love concerts. I love live music. I love live music.
We've been saying we love live music at the moment.
Just
that's the bag.
Like even the jazz cafe, all that stuff. Like it's just
it's too good. It's too good.
It's your soul.
I just there's something about hearing people live and then just connecting with live music. The jazz cafe specifically.
So good.
You haven't been, guys.
Go to the jazz cafe. Go to the 91 room or 91 living room. I can't remember what it's called. Go to that place because I was there the other week and it's good as heck. Go to the Good News channel. They have the Orange Room every month. You should go there too because they do live music. They do jam sessions. It's good. There's one tonight I'm going after this.
Do you know what I want to try? Have you tried it, Ronnie Scott's?
I've not been there.
I haven't. I really want to try it.
I went in once.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, like briefly. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
So just that live.
Yeah.
Good as heck.
Yeah.
And I love a concert, and I'm always going to concerts, and I just want to get back into like talking about it.
Yeah.
Because people who know me, they know that I like to do these things. I just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I realized that once I started talking about it again, people start commenting like, "Oh, like blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh, why did I stop?"
Yeah.
But like, it's that But also, I've not said it yet. This is my confession. I'm a huge K-pop fan.
Oh, I love that. You haven't talked about what genre. Yeah, so is that like your main one, K-pop?
It's not my main one, but it's probably the one I'm most active in because there's so much happening in the K-pop world.
Yeah.
I've kind of seen bits and bobs, and like I don't
just
know. There's a lot
taking over the world.
It's insane. I actually was a runner for the show Made in Korea that they did on BBC Three, and they picked a boy group, and their song's out today.
Oh my god! Oh, is this the one where these people from the UK and they have to go? I saw this advertised.
On the show.
That's so fun.
That's cool. Was
I
that
love
cool?
That was so cool. As a K-pop, that was so good. And they were working with SM Entertainment, and they have like all my favorite artists.
Wow.
Oh my god.
So I was talking to every single staff member I met.
Oh my god.
I was like, hey, I love all your groups.
Yeah. Get me to the concert.
Yeah.
Backstage, please.
For free. Like
Yeah.
I was huge on that. But that's actually reminds me of the question you asked me way earlier about what it's like being a runner.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that it's not hard being a runner, but you need to have so much energy because you are pretty much running like all day.
Yeah.
But also, never be afraid to be a runner again. Because the idea is you're a runner and then you stop doing that. But I was a runner like when I was like 17, 18. And I randomly became a runner again at 25 for the show, you know? So it's like, never say no to those kind of opportunities is what I would say. Never be too good to be a runner.
For sure.
I was like, I will happily be a runner. What the hell?
Yeah.
Just to be in the room with those people.
It's such
it's
invaluable.
It's insane. But
Yeah.
that's basically my next step.
I love it.
To get back into my music bag.
Yes, we'd love to see it. Marvel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've had so much fun.
Me too.
I have loved this session. It's just been fun. Like it's so interesting. We'll see you guys next week on Young and Unscripted. Bye.